And we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to AYPN. Here's James.
What's going on?
Just wanted to jump on
Who's
as
online?
nobody yet. But as you know, we're at a new location this month, Grandview, Missouri. Woo woo. We just want to let you know it's going to be a couple more minutes. We're honoring that with this new location. It's taken some people a little longer to get here, and it's kind of tricky to find. So just giving some more time, and we'll be with you. We'll get started officially in 5 more minutes, I think.
Yes.
So we thank you for your patience, and we thank you. We see somebody's on right now, so we do honor your time as well. So we just ask you to hold on for about 5 more minutes. Go make sure you got your coffee, get your drink, get your notes, get your notepad, because we have some good information for you today. And it's all about community, so you don't want to miss. Hang tight.
And I've been there before.
Welcome again. So we are excited to officially get started with today's Activate Your Power Now, Activate Community. I mean, what else? What more do we really stand for, right? We started this speaker series helping people to show up and learn to express, learn to honor, learn to own their story. I'm not sure that we knew it was going to turn into this community that we now have of activators, powerful people and leaders who want to not only show up for themselves, but want to show up for others, right? Knowing that as we heal ourselves and work on ourselves and grow ourselves, it's going to have that great ripple effect, as Aaron Page says, with your community, with all the things that you encounter in life. So, guys, we're making community every day. We're creating it every day. What's happening is we're not doing it on purpose. So, we're just getting started. Hand it over to James.
Welcome. This is a new spot for us. We're in Grandview right now. We're at the Chambers of Commerce. This is a part of a location that I've been living in since 2019 from South Kansas City. So this is really close to home. So it feels fun to be here. It feels like I'm coming back to my roots in a sense from serving Johnson County, now coming back and serving Jackson County and serving a community that has already poured into me and made me the person that I am today, right? Led me along that path. So I want to ask the audience, people online, what does community mean to you? You can shout it out. Support.
You might seem weird online if you're just shouting out in the middle of the word. So we understand if you
if
don't.
you're online, write it in the chat. What does community mean to you? And also, how did you find your tribe?
Yes.
How did you find your tribe? Like you said, it didn't happen intentionally.
Right.
In the beginning, you kind of you're kind of just following the breadcrumbs and allowing your evolution of life to unfold, and then you stumble into people and places and events that, I feel resonance. I feel like I'm being seen in my gifts and my light. And from there, now you have contrast, because I know I was thinking about, okay, what does community mean? How do you create community? I know you come into this world with two types of communities that you're born into, communities that you create along the way, right? So the first part is usually based off proximity and provisions, what they can do for you, and also at the same time, how close you are. So whether that's family you're born into, your friends that you make along the way, from school, from common interests, from sports, whatever it is, hobbies that you create. But then along the way, you realize, okay, sometimes these communities, they expect conformity. They want you to fit into the box that's already created within that space, versus you, okay, now that requires you to either sacrifice a piece of yourself, or let me go ahead and rebel and create my own community. So then that leads to the second part, which is based off shared resonance and shared riches, right? So now based off resonance, based off coherence, you form communities that allow your gifts and your light to be seen as you are, right? Not as they want you to be, as you are right now. So as communities based off authenticity. And this is a community that we have formed based off authenticity that came through us pushing through challenges, changing through pushing through limitations, through fears. We literally entered a speakers academy to learn how to, one, sell our business. I didn't have one at the time, but my limitation was stepping through fear of public speaking, right? So through that fear, I met my business partner, one of my best friends today, Isabel Black, along with a whole tribe of people that came along with that. So it's like there's that step that you take that leads to a greater illumination, because now you're able to see yourself, you're able to connect with yourself, create community within yourself, and then that radiates outwards and attracts your vibe and attracts your tribe. So with that, before we start and bring out our first guest, I want to just ground us into this space, into this new space, and allow the energy of this community to enter so we can radiate and touch as we leave today. So I want everybody to place their feet firmly on the ground. If you're online, find a seat. If you're already sitting down, put your feet firmly on the ground. Let's take a few deep breaths. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. And on this next one, I want you to breathe in and hold it for 4 seconds, and then breathe out and hold it for 4 seconds. So breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold it for 4. Now you may open your eyes. This is just a quick grounding exercise that keeps us in our body. So as we come on stage, if you're a speaker, or if you're in the audience, you can be present with the information that's coming through. And now, whether it lands or whether it doesn't, you're able to see and be activated in that essence. So bring up our first speaker.
Yeah, I would love to, but before I do that, James, I want to retouch on something you said, and it was that question, right? What does community mean to you? Because through this series, you're going to hear a lot of people sharing what it has meant to them in different ways. But in order for us to make the impact that we're seeking to make, right, in this world, because everybody I'm looking at in person, and I know the people that follow us online are people who know there's something deeper, bigger for them to do in life, and just are still trying to figure out and put the pieces together or learn to trust deeper, right, of how to get there. You're not going to get there alone. You know, I couldn't do this alone, James, and you couldn't do this alone, and we can't do this alone. So again, the challenge is for you to sit with that question, take in what these speakers are saying and sharing what resonates, write it down, spend some time breathing in it. That technique we just did to ground ourselves. And whatever the answer is, write that down as well, declare it, allow it to become something tangible that can grow, because as we speak, it is energy. It is attaching itself to everything and everybody that we encounter. So let's just do it on purpose, guys, and let's do it on purpose together. So with that, I want to go ahead and bring up our first speaker today, who is a new activator. She's new to our platform, Activate Your Power Now. And not only is she new to the platform, she is hosting us today at the Grandview Chamber of Commerce. So let's give her a big thanks for that first and foremost. And we're happy to collaborate, link arms with this chamber. We're excited about what they're doing, and she'll give you a little bit more about that. But we are here to set a presence in Grandview, Missouri this month, next month, and into 2026. And we're excited to do it alongside with you, Liz. So welcome, Liz, to the stage.
Thank you. We're really glad to be able to host you guys here today. It just happened that they came in looking for a space and to learn more about the chamber. And we're like, well, our members get to use this space, so this works out perfectly. So I'm really glad that it worked out that we were able to host today and the next one in November for you guys. So my story about community really starts 11 years ago. I have lived here for 17 years in Grandview. Most of that time early on, I worked for Garmin in Olathe. And for 5 years, almost 6 years, I worked at Garmin, and I was literally just a number. That is a huge organization. And I was miserable. Like, I was so miserable. And so I would come home, sleep, and then go back out to Olathe. I did not spend time here in Grandview. And so in May, Grandview hosts a Harry's Heydays Festival, because Harry Truman, there's a farm here where he lived. And so we honor his birthday every May, and they have a big festival, and they have a parade And so I saw a flyer. I'd never been to this festival before. I saw a flyer that you could walk your dog at the end of the parade.
Okay.
And so at the time I had my Schnauzer, who he was like my son, and unfortunately he passed away last year. But my husband at the time was working on cell towers, so he was gone for weeks at a time. And I was just sitting at home alone. And I was like, well, you know what? I guess I'll go walk in that parade. I don't know anybody, but I'll go walk in it. And I ended up walking with a woman who had her Labrador, and we just talked the entire route, just chatting and talking. And she happened to be the city administrator's wife. And I told her about how I work at Garmin, I'm miserable, and she's like, well, you should get involved in the community here. I grew up in South Kansas City. So when you think government, you're like, okay, whatever, you say that, okay. So she ended up, at the end of the parade route, she found her husband and introduced us. And he was like, oh, well, it's so great to meet you. Let's connect and let me get your information. So I gave him my email and I expected nothing. I was like, he's just being nice. Okay. A week later, I had an email and he's like, there's a small business here that needs help. They're looking to hire and I think you would be a great fit. And within a month, I was working for Cruz Jewelry here in Grandview, a local small business, and I handled all of their marketing and communications and did a little bit of sales. That's not my thing, but I handled all of their communications and marketing. And then I started to get more involved because the owner was involved and she was very persuasive and trying to say, like, you need to be involved here. She grew up in Grandview. She knew the community really well. And so I started going to the farmers market on Saturdays. I started volunteering at different events and organizations, and it just grew. I started a small business Saturday event while I was working there and invited all of the different businesses in Grandview to participate. We made a passport. It was just me doing it, but it was really fun, and I got to start meeting other businesses. And I realized I love supporting local businesses. I ended up being recruited from Cruz Jewelry to a marketing agency that you take your accounts and you were physically in the area of those accounts. So you're not posting about somebody that you have no idea what their product is. Like, I have to physically go chat with them, see their stuff. And so I worked there for a couple of years, and it was in the Martin City area. That was my whole account of the businesses in the Martin City area. And with that, I was still going to chamber events. I was getting involved with this chamber and with the South KC chamber. And I did, they have a leadership program that I went through and met a whole bunch of people. And I started meeting the Parks and Rec people here in Grandview. And outdoors is really like, I love supporting local businesses, but I also love just going to national parks, hiking, doing all the things. And so I started getting a little bit more involved with volunteering with Parks and Rec, and then their marketing person left. And so they needed to hire for that position. And so I applied, and they moved that full-time position to a part-time. And I was like, well, I can't really do that. And they're like, if it's you coming, we will work to make this a full-time position soon. And so I worked part-time there, and I worked part-time for the chamber here. And I just continued getting more and more involved in the community. And when I tell you, Grandview is such a unique place. Like, our mayor, he attends everything. He walks Main Street. I met him when I was working at Cruz Jewelry. He just walked in. He's like, how's everybody doing? This is the mayor of Grandview here. And it's just a whole different experience from some of those bigger cities where you don't get that type of interaction. And so I worked for Parks and Rec for close to 5 years. And again, I was still helping with the chamber, volunteering. I would come to chamber events. After I went full-time with Parks and Rec, I had to stop working here part-time. But I was still interacting with everybody. I had a great relationship with everybody here. And the president, who was here before me, she had been here for over 20 years and she decided she wanted to retire. Mm-hmm. And so if you know anything about Chamber World, it's a very niche or like type of organization. Not everybody, there's not a whole lot of people to hire for these types of roles. And I was working one of my big events at Parks and Rec, and the board chair came to that event and she was like, "Do you have a minute?" And I was like, "Not really, like this is a big event, not really, but," and she's like, "It'll just take a few minutes." I was like, "Okay." So we walked over to the side and she was like, "The president is going to retire here in the next year or two, and we would love for you to work under her to learn everything, and we want you to be the next president." And I was not expecting that. I loved my job there. I had no desire to leave, but also I knew that this was a need and that I could step up for my community by coming here. I ended up taking a pay cut. I lost a whole bunch of benefits. The city takes care of their people here, but I knew that this is where I needed to be. And so I came over here, and she ended up retiring within 9 months of me starting here, which I was not expecting. But because we have such a great community here, and I have been involved for almost a decade at that point, everybody just kind of came in and were like, "What can we do to support you and make sure that this works?" And I mean, this organization, she had been here for 20 years. We were coming out of COVID. It was not in a great situation. But because I personally know all of our, like most of our members, I knew them personally before I ever came here. I wanted to make sure that I could be the best resource for them as I possibly could. And so Chelsea, my partner here, she also worked for a small business here in town, and she is just a little social butterfly. And she was like, when our president was retiring, we started hiring for a part-time position for somebody to just help take the load off while we're transitioning. And she's like, "Should I apply?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And she's like, kind of the same situation I was in before. I can't make a part-time position work. Yeah. And I was like, "I will make it full-time once she retires. You will go full-time, and it'll be the two of us." And it's been the two of us ever since. And she is perfect in her role. And I'm good with just making sure that everything is running smoothly. I'm the data and analytics person and making sure the organization is running well. She is my little social butterfly that makes sure she is a connector. Yeah. When it comes to community, I wish Chelsea was here today because she is a major connector. She can sit there and talk to you for 5 minutes and have a whole list of people she wants to introduce you to. Because it makes sense. Like, oh, you need to know this person and this person and this person. And so we both love supporting our community, and she lives just right on the line of Belton and Grandview too. So this is also her community. And it just makes a big difference when you're invested, you're in it. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at here. And so now we have people that just walk in, and we do recruit a little bit, but we have folks that just walk in and they're like, "Well, we want to know a little bit more." And we just sit down and we're like, "Tell us about yourself. Yeah. Let us hear your story, and then we can figure out how we can help you and see if we're a good fit." Yeah. And that's where we are today.
And we thank you for sharing your story and for hosting us and for being the people that you're being. Yes. Were you done?
Yep.
You want to close
Yep.
up? Okay.
Thank you.
So go ahead and stay up there real quick. And we'll let James come up here too. So, I mean, thank you. I really just want you to know how grateful we are to have landed here when we did and have that conversation. That was just 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks
2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago.
And we shared with her, we gave her the 2026 vision, and then after dumping all of that on her and who we are and who we've been and stuff, then I said, oh, and we're actually homeless right now. We have 2 more events we have to finish this year. And the people who were hosting us closed their shop. And we didn't want to cancel the last 2 series. So I'm like, do you have anybody you can recommend we go talk to? And then sharing that, you know, we're a free event up to this point. So everyone who's been hosting us has been hosting us for free. It's their way to give back as well. And as soon as I said that, this is a, you know, a nice little room with a conference table and stuff and a couch and everything. So she looks around and she's like, here? And I'm like, those are our people.
Yeah.
That's our tribe.
Absolutely.
We were all, like we've said before, leading up into this point, we were all in preparation to be here right now.
Yes.
Doing this together.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know it. And I love it. So we're super grateful. Again, we can't wait to work with you. And thank you for sharing your story. I'm sure there'll be many more times that the people will get to hear from you.
Absolutely. We're excited to have you here.
Yeah, for sure. Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Liz. And I see that as just a testament to how community extends beyond time and space, right? You know, when one location closes, another one opens up because community is based off a shared ideal, right? A shared purpose, a shared mission, right? A passion, heart-centered, where you followed your heart, right? You went from, okay, I'm here, but I don't feel like I'm really here. I'm really connected with the people around me, to taking that step and trusting there's a parade. I don't know who's going to be there. I'm going to show up anyways and see what happens. And then those breadcrumbs lead you to meeting people who lead you to meeting more people. Now you're in a whole different situation, right? With really engaging yourself in a whole different way, really tapping in and allowing your true gifts to really shower and flow through. So thank you. I've been here since 2019, and I can say my own personal testament to Grandview and seeing the blossoming of community in this space with the businesses, the organizations, the new energy flowing through. And we had a conversation, I'm like, and they were telling me about how they kind of took over in 2021, but seeing the growth since 2019, the last 6 years, I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely see the effort, right? I definitely see the passion and the want to step into a space and want to change it and want to be activated and activating community in that way. So again, thank you.
Thank you. I couldn't help James, but while she was speaking, I was envisioning her story, that story she shared. I was envisioning it walking through the DREAMS acronym, right? Because that really is what our bread and butter with how we really help people at Activate Your Power Now is walking them through their DREAMS acronym. And I saw, you know, first of all, we want to acknowledge, and again, you're taking notes. So write this down because it has power. You know, it was a thought, right? You were at Garmin and it wasn't fulfilling. You know, it may be meeting the budget, the desired budget income or whatever that you're bringing in. Maybe you're satisfied with your wages, right? But your heart just doesn't feel fulfilled. Your purpose doesn't feel fulfilled. So it's that thought, and it's learning how to, one, acknowledge the thoughts that we're hearing. You took that thought and you put some action behind it, right? It took you releasing fears. It took you releasing lots of things. And you expanded yourself by showing up and going to these parades and to the farmers markets. So you expanded your connections, right? Who you're putting yourself around, the things you're experiencing. And once you started experiencing and getting this vibe of, oh, this is fulfilling me. Something's feeling fulfilled and pulling me deeper into this journey. And then you had to aim and anchor, right? This is where I need to be. This is my community. And then once you were anchored, you started mastering, right? What was yours to do? Mastering the works, the practice that it's going to require to fulfill this new calling. And then once you step into that, you boldly step into it and you say yes and yes and yes again as the path creates its own way. Then you get to step into the part that we're celebrating you with today, which is the servancy part. How can I give back with this beautiful, wonderful blessing that I have acquired through my dedication to making my dreams possible. So thank you so much once again. Another round of applause, please, for Liz and for all of you that are doing the work.
I can resonate. I just stepped away from my government job, Honeywell, working for them, right, for the last 7 years. So feeling like another cog in the wheel and not really feeling, I have the saying like, okay, wherever I go, I'm gonna find my people. But even in those situations, I'm like, okay, I'm not utilizing my gifts to my fullest potential right now as I am today. So, but there was a lot, sometimes we have this vision, but then we want to share it with people who can't see it. So then that allows, that may tempt us to like kind of step away from our own visions, but it takes that courage and that bravery to keep that fire going and actually take a step and make a change in your life. So, and I commend you for doing that.
Yes.
I know how hard it is to really step into an unknown space and trust that, okay, yes, I'm being guided to where I need to be. This is a part of the process, a part of the cycles. And now it's just how life is unfolding for me because I'm being a change. I'm activating myself. And from that, I'm inviting and activating life into my life, right? So thank you.
That's a perfect segue into our next speaker, actually, right? Because he's somebody who has, man, if he had to go based off of what life has given him, he had every reason to give up already. But he chose to go deeper within himself, and he chose to pay the consequences of his actions from before and be willing to step out confidently and boldly to say, sure, that was me, but this is a new version of me, and I'm here to do something different. I'm here to make an impact with my community. And he's going to share with you some walls he had to come up against, some systems he had to come up against, and how he stayed true to himself, stayed true to his calling, and how he's turning all of his pains into his power. So we're super blessed and honored to have Denzel join the stage as a new activator, and I'll hand it right over to him.
First, I want to say good morning.
Good morning.
To everybody at home. Good morning is important. When I was in prison, waking up, you talk to a man, he might be having he might have had bad dreams, he might have got a bad letter, he might be having a bad week. Good morning might change his whole day. Good morning might be the difference between him going to the hole or him just doing what he needs to do, filling out more things, going to the law library, fighting for his life. A lot of people don't understand, they don't realize I'm a felon because I'm well educated, I speak well. It's not a manipulation. My mom fortunately cared enough to make us study, hooked on phonics, whatever. Community to me is a reflection. If you look online and you look up a community, the first thing you're going to see is group statistics. It's not going to tell you my name. It's not going to tell you his name or her name. It's going to tell you that the crime rate is this, the money made is this, the consensus says this. That's why it's so important to hold each other accountable in our communities. That's why it's so important to give back to our communities. When I was younger, I did nothing but disrupt my community. I didn't do anything but wreak havoc. I was terrible. Later on in my life now, I can say it, and it's actually funny because when I see people now that knew me when I was a kid, they're always like, man, this is crazy. Like, you're just, you're a dad, you have kids of your own. You're doing different things, you're doing better things. And I tell them that it's a testament to just wanting more. When I was in the system, I met a lot of people that were in the system, but were of the system. What that means is there are people who are, unfortunately, going to be incarcerated their whole lives. Whether it's recidivism, getting out, going back, getting out, going back, or it's just one mistake cost them a lifetime. Fortunately, there are people like me who were in the system, but I'm not of the system, where I knew better, but I didn't do better. So what it caused me to do was change my route, changed my life, changed my friends, changed my thinking. When you go through a situation as traumatic as prison, a lot of people see prison on TV, and it's always The Wire, the Oz, people getting raped every day and stuff like that. It's not per se that, but it is a lot of instability. It's a lot of confusion, politics. Respect is a huge thing. This goes back to my statement, good morning. When you respect someone, good morning, you're telling them that I hope that your start is good. No matter what my day ends like, I can always think back to my start. How do I get back to that? How do I get back to when I woke up this morning? One thing that I used to do was when I wake up in the morning, I used to pray, read my word. I used to think, God, what can I do to ensure that I don't come back here? It sounds a little mean to say, but I used to see older dudes that were in the penitentiary that had oxygen tanks. Their kids have had kids, visitation. It's, you know what I mean? So seeing that, I used to walk around with, you know, the people that were more my age, the people that were actually expecting release dates, and we used to be like, man, ain't no way. There's no way. I can't see it. Once you get it in your head, your soul, your spirit, that this is not who I am, things will change. I'm not saying that you're going to get out of prison, you're going to be completely reformed, life is going to be peaches. It's actually going to be harder. Because it's easy to do hard. When you get out, you have friends, you have enemies, you have people who don't too much care for you, you have distractions, you have yourself, bigger than anything. You have people who don't understand your daily conflict. You have people who don't understand going through every day. When you see a police car ride by, your stomach hurt. You know, I had a period in time where I went to jail probably every other week. A judge in Riley County, David Stutzman, he started a program for me. I was adjudicated as a juvenile to go to prison, but he didn't want to send me to prison. So he gave me something called EJJ, which is extended jurisdiction. I had a juvenile sentence when I turned 18, then my adult sentence imposed. I didn't take it serious, so I went to prison probably 33 days after I turned 18. And that was crazy. I say it was crazy for my mom because
You are a king. You are a king. You are a king. Just breathe. You all right, bro?
going into processing and having someone that you don't know handing you a waiver to who to send your body to if something happens to you, it changes you. It took me probably 20 minutes to sign that waiver. And I'm looking around at everybody else who is their first time going to prison, and we all sitting here looking the same way. Because the first night when that door closes, and it's just you, that's when the reality kicks in. I can't leave. My mom can't come get me. It is what it is. But I don't cry because it makes me sad. I cry because it's still hard to believe that I'm here.
Amen. Yes, yes,
You know?
yes.
Come on, bro. Powerful.
Thank you. But I want to get to another thing. When I speak to how things get harder out of prison. When I got out of prison, I changed my circle. I really didn't have friends. I really lived on prison time. I still worked out every morning. I had a job. I lived like that. When I got out into the world, I remembered I spent most of my teens incarcerated, most of my 20s incarcerated. So I had fun. I started hanging out with K-State basketball players. I started doing my music. I'm performing. I'm traveling. So everything is coming to fruition. But this time, more than any time, taught me that it's not that easy.
Yeah.
I had a situation. I'm gonna narrow it down to I was shot by someone that I was letting stay in my home.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't an acquaintance of mine. He was an acquaintance of a family member. And I went through a lot during that time because my arm was completely shattered. So, and it's my dominant arm. So I've never been a lefty. I'm talking about I ain't unscrewing no caps with no left hand. I'm not eating with the left hand. I'm not opening doors with my left hand. So waking up and
Right way.
this is all I got now. Whew, man, when I tell you that's for a man, that is a humbling experience. It's like you'll never understand the pain of an athlete when he has an ACL tear and he's on the field crying and people are like, oh, he's, you know, that for a man, that is like taking away my strength.
Yeah.
You know, Samson from the Bible days, when you cut his hair, he lost his strength. We as men, we thrive on our strength from our head to our toes, our arms, our legs. We use everything every day. So not being able to do that, you know, it hurt. But me being stubborn, the same person who got myself incarcerated in the day, it came back, but not in a bad way. Probably a month or two after getting shot, I'm not wearing my sling. And I'm going to the doctor, and the doctor's like, what are you doing? And he's like, you're not even, your bones ain't even hanging on. And I'm literally walking around like this every day. And people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't want to wear no sling. I feel like it makes me weak. And 6 months later, I could move it and I could do things. And I went to my doctor and he's like, you're healing crazily. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'm making myself heal because I'm just tired of hurting. And
Say that.
my last thing that I want to get to, back to community. So since I've been out of prison, I've been trying to have a community event in Manhattan, Kansas called Back in Motion Day. A giveaway for kids. Everything's free for them. Food, backpacks, music, entertainment, games, whatever. For the first few years, I dealt with a lot of pushback from this. I dealt with blockage from Riley County Police Department. I dealt with city council looking up my name. I dealt with a lot of things, you know, and for a while, it made me resent my community because once again, it goes back to statistics and consensus. If these people treat me like this, the rest of the community must feel like this too. Because if they can do it, why can't I? After years of pushback, the rebel comes back again. I said, I'm going to call the city hall. I'm going to ask them for a park that I can have a small gathering, and whatever happens, happens. So I called City Hall. I made the thing. They said, if you want the stage for a DJ and all those nice things, you're going to have to pay. I said, okay, I'll do that. I had sponsors reaching out to pay for these things. I got 10 barbers from my area. I got hair braiders. I got everything lined up. I got free gifts. The day before my event, I'm sitting down to have a lunch by myself and just think. And the city hall calls me and says, yeah, so you didn't pay your fee. I said, well, I had an email 2 days ago saying that you guys weren't going to charge me the fee. Mind you, this is a Friday at 3:45. my event is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I say, I don't ask any more questions. I say, what are we doing? What do I need to do? They said, well, the director that you've been working with, she's out of town on vacation. I said, so what are you telling me? They said, well, we need the 250 so you can continue on with this. And I said, well, I've spent the 250 on my event now because you told me that I didn't. And I told my sponsors I didn't need it anymore. So that would look kind of crazy for me to go back and say, hey, I actually do need that 250. So long story short, I woke up Saturday morning. They tried to cancel my vendors. They said I couldn't use the stage. I called everyone involved and I said, I'm going to be at City Park. You can meet me there or not. My DJ came, DJ Candy, thank you. She got on the stage. Lo and behold, when I got there, the city sent a city worker to meet me there. I didn't tell them I was going to be there, what time they were there. When they came, my attitude was terrible, I'm not gonna lie. I'm setting up around them and they came to me and they said, I'm not here to block you. They want me to check your tents. They want me to do this. They want me to be a disruption to you, but I've never seen anything like this. I'm out of your way. A lot of obstacles came, but the people who came, we had a great time. People requested we do it again. I have a lot of sponsors reaching out. I have a lot of people who want to help and be involved. So next year is going to be even bigger. Once again, I say this to say this. Good morning. Community is everything. And one more thing. I wore my clothing brand today. I started it probably about 2 months ago. It's called Motionaires. I have for women, Motionaires. The idea of that is God gave us all motion, one way or another. When you wake up, when you go to sleep, whether you think you can't do nothing, you're clumsy, whatever the case may be, God gave us all some type of niche, and you can use it, but give back to your community at all times, and keep the motion. Thank you guys for helping me, and thank you guys for tuning in at home.
That was powerful. I mean, when we tell you at AYPN, we come with it. We come with these powerful stories. And he's been in my community, Close Circle, for a lot of years now in Manhattan, but we never really had the pleasure of meeting each other in person. I just always knew he was my niece's and her husband's good friend.
Timing is everything.
I had heard his name for a long time, but never took the time to meet him. And it wasn't until he saw us, AYPN, Fell Into Fabulous, Becoming the Better You, on social media, and you reached out. I think we interviewed Deshaun. And he's from Manhattan also, a young man making a huge impact in this world. And he's super busy right now, but he'll end up on the AYPN stage as well. But again, guys, these experiences, sure, a lot of times they will come your way, but you got to be willing to advocate for yourself. You got to be willing to speak for yourself. Speak up. If you see something that resonates, that you believe in, that you believe you should be a part of, use your voice. Use all your assets that you have with you. And you reached out to me, and I got to hear some of your story. I thought it was powerful. I didn't even hear it all. You shared more today. But this is a young man, guys, somebody that we have been saying since we started this movement. We love that we're getting a lot of older people through our platform, my age or close to that and stuff, and I'm 46, that are finally coming to that stage of it's never too late, right? There's things to change, there's things to do, and there's a life to live. But our hope and goal at the beginning of this was really like, how do we do the preventative, right? And that's tapping into the younger community before we're all going to experience hardship. But how can we tap into that community of the younger generation and walk with them through these trials they're going to face? Because we're going to face them. So what a great leader, and one of our first younger leaders on this platform to be bold, step forward, and speak to their community and show up for their community. So good morning, and thank you very much. We really appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me.
Absolutely. We hope you come back.
And his music is fire. So
It is.
listen, he didn't plug his music, but look, you gotta check it out. Because when she told me, oh, we have this new speaker, Denzel, I'm like, okay, let me check him out. I went on his Facebook page, his pinned video. I'm like, right, that's a testament to like, you know, really transmuting and transforming that energy into something creative and productive that really touches your soul and touches your heart. So thank you. I love how you said, this is not who I am, so I need to change.
Yes.
And then realizing also change is not something that's easy. Change requires an enormous amount of energy, right? Because your body likes to go down the path of least resistance, right? So your habits, your patterns that's already encoded and ingrained in your brain and in your body, that's what it wants to do, right? But at the same time, it's like, oh, I need to change, because your soul is like, okay, we have to evolve. So we're not going down that path of least resistance. We're creating new pathways, and that requires new energy of breaking down walls, of tearing, pushing through limitations. So your ability to stand strong and have a resolve that leads you to where you're at right now, where you can touch community in a different way, right? So it's going from being disruptive to being connecting people, allowing them to feel seen and feel safe, and also to, dig their way out of their own disruptions in their own life. So thank you for being that. I commend you. I salute you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You know, as someone who was also a menace to the community at a young age, the fact that I could give back now, and I'm in Kansas doing it. So of course I'm from El Paso, Texas. So you still have the people at home who, many moons later, that have a hard time believing that I could actually be doing something good for other people, because of all the stuff I did before that didn't care about how people felt or community was impacted and stuff. So totally resonated with some of your message with that. But when we speak community, James, and we're talking about activate your power now community, and these last 4 years that we've spent building and showing up and practicing all of this stuff, we've had a handful of people who have been, I'm going to say, ride or die. That means from year one, showing up, and even the first time I remember meeting her when she came to one of our events, I thanked her for showing up. She was a new face. I went and I met her. I thanked her. And she said, as she was putting on her coat, I had some other really important things going on, but I went ahead and chose to do this instead, and I'm so glad I did. And that just really triggered something in my mind, because as a new event holder, facilitator, and new to this world back then, I was like, wow, people really are making a conscious decision. We're all busy. It was a Wednesday night that first year. And yeah, they're giving something up to be here. And that just made me, she opened my eyes right to that truth, and seeing our people who follow us and choose to show up over and over again different. But she has shown up over and over. She, when we were playing with paid events, she paid to show up to our events. When we did a workshop, she paid for the workshop. She's put in the work. She shows up not only now for herself, but now she shows up for our community, because now she's become a leader in our community. And we're so grateful to have her. We're so grateful to link arms with her moving into 2026 and bring her more to the spotlight of the leadership position that we know she's always been there, ready, willing, and wanting to fulfill with this community. And we're so grateful for her. So welcome up, Julie.
Okay, good morning, everyone. You're going to see me do something a little bit different today. First, I'm going to use notes, which I don't do too often, but I'm going to start with just a little over 1 minute of music, because
Yes.
It came to me last night that there was a song that pretty much encapsulates what we all want out of our community. And a lot of you that are older will recognize it, some of the others maybe not, but it's only a minute long, so it won't take long. Let people know this song.
Yeah.
I think the part of that song that encapsulates what we want from community to me is we want to go where people do know us, where they're glad to see us, and where you realize that everybody else has problems too, and you have something in common with them. Now, I looked up the definitions of community, and there was basically three main things. One is just obviously the root word of community is common. So it's people or things that have something in common with you. So it can be like really superficial, you know, like people with red hair, people under 40, people who live in the Kansas City metro area, people who, you know, are into sports. All of those are different communities, fairly superficial, but it works. Anything that's common can help create community with somebody. And another thing was more environmental and mentioned a given environment with different species that are interdependent on each other. And I thought that was interesting. The key word for there was kind of like interdependent for me. But the one I liked best talked about a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. And I think that maybe that is really important to me, kind of like that, the positive interaction and environment. Our earliest community when we're first born is our family. But it doesn't always meet all those positive things. The same with church and school and all the things you don't have a choice of when you're little. Some families are really good and warm and welcoming and good at community. Everybody is appreciated and celebrated. Some are more the opposite of that, or nobody feels like they belong, or some, you know, they're different. They're not going to see because they're this or they're that, and it's just hard. So not everyone is lucky enough to be born connected to community, even in family. And then you go up, and heaven knows school can be really good for some people. And for a lot of us, it's really hard because we feel outside. And I think realizing how many people felt that actually occurred when I went with one of my daughters. Her class was doing back when they used to have kids read the school lunch thing on the news in the morning. And I was listening to two of the women, and one of them was a very popular, very beautiful anchor woman. And she was talking about her class reunion was going to be that evening. And there was no way in heck she was going. In fact, didn't like it when she was there, didn't have any desire to go back. So even people that you think, oh, they were probably, you know, like super popular cheerleader, I mean, look at them now, that may not be the case. We all tend to feel a little different, even though we want that fellowship so much. I came of age in the 70s, and the 70s was kind of after the end of the combination come together and rebellion 60s, and one of the themes was do your own thing. And also, you know, don't care what other people think. And I thought that I did that pretty well. Tried not to care that I was different, told you that I didn't care what other people thought. I definitely did my own thing a lot of the time. And I didn't have much community around me. My mom was probably an introvert, so it wasn't like they never went to church. I don't ever remember people coming over for dinner or anything else when I was a kid. We were kind of further away from the family than part of the family, and the other part lived a long way away. So I never had a lot of real good examples of community. So coming into a 12-step program in my early 30s, it was Al-Anon. I'll say that, I don't care about my particular anonymity, but it was one of the first places where one of the things they would tell me was keep coming back. And at the time, because of some of the things going on in my living situation, I didn't feel welcome anywhere in the world. And so to have people say keep coming back and mean it literally made me cry. Can still make me cry remembering it. And it became probably one of the first places I knew where people did know my name and they were glad to see me. And we all had problems of different degrees. And it wasn't a way to ostracize or put people down. It was a way to support and come together and all get better together. And that was huge for me. And sometime in the first couple years of healing, I became aware, and it was actually a real shock to me that, oh my God, I really did care back then. I really did care what people think. I still don't want it to determine how I live my life, but it did matter to me, and it did hurt. It still matters to me. Now I do my own thing, but I try and have communities of people that are similar enough that I get that support and recognition, and people are glad to see me in any given area. It's hard. Two things that are important to me right now is a lot of people don't know how to build community, or they don't feel like they're a part of community. I think that Liz and Denzel's stories were both awesome. And another thing I love is how everybody's take on a topic is so different. I mean, like I love my community, but I'm not all that involved in it, but I feel somewhat connected to it. But I've lived places where, like Liz, it's just like it's a house. You know, you come and go, but you don't really feel a part of or engaged. And the courage it took Denzel to come out of prison and choose a different community, because communities, as James talked about in the beginning, can be a negative as well as a positive. You have to be careful. One red flag with communities or with relationships of any kind is if they try and isolate or cut you off from other communities. And that's even if your family tries to tell you everything else is evil, or if a church tries to tell you, oh, you know, you need to give up this, and this. I mean, it's not that some of the things might not be okay, but if they're cutting you off from your community and starting to isolate you, that's not good. I think the more communities, the better. I tried really hard to give my kids a sense of community when they were kids, both with church, with my 12-step group, with their community, with school events and stuff, in a way that I didn't have. And I was 50% successful. So that's better than, what I came from. So I guess we're all still working on that. Building community. I have friends that have recently gone through major life changes, moved halfway across the country, and we're just really worried. I keep saying you need to build community. Find a group of people who have a similar interest. You can find a faith community. You can find an walking community, a community of people who love books, a community of people who do quilting. There's 1,000 different ways to find community. With men, it can be sports. And just go where there's people that are interested in the same things. And if the first place you try doesn't work out, try another one, because they'll all have a slightly different personality. And that's how you belong. Then I have moments of what I call micro community. I mean, this is one of my favorite things to do, which some people are going, you freaking crazy. I actually like going to the grocery store during pre-holiday season. Yeah, it is busy as all get out. But you will see people in my area anyway being polite to each other, sharing help. You know, this is where you find that. Oh, isn't that a good deal on that? How are you doing? And I always walk out of there going, God, I love my town. And I mean, I live in Independence, Missouri. It's not a small town. I don't know those people, may never see them again, but they've smiled and I've smiled, and we've created community. It may last 2 minutes, but it'll make us smile for hours, and we feel connected and a part of. You can do that wherever you are, and that is like a micro minute of community is making the world a better place, seeing somebody, them seeing you, and sharing that positive. So even if you're not connected yet, I hope you all find a way to be as part of as many communities as you can, whether it is your local geographic area, your city, your town, your school, your church, your friends. AYPN is a community. We're glad to see each other. We love and support each other. And I'm blessed to be a part of it. I hope you find a community that you're blessed to be a part of too. And don't forget to create those little micro minutes any chance you get. Just hi to a stranger. Thank you.
Yeah. I think AYPN is creating professional speakers here too. I mean, that's just another thing we'll go ahead and put on our resume, because Julie, every time you get up, you come up, I see you just growing, not just in your confidence, in your presence, in your conviction of what you have to say, and your message is always powerful. So we're so grateful that you're here. You choose to continue to be a part of our community. And like I said, that now you're in that serving phase of being a part of this community, of giving back, pouring into all of these people, and helping to lead the way of how to be community, right? How to take all those things that we do have in common, but how do you figure out what you have in common with other people, right? First, you got to figure out yourself, which I remember at the start of your journey when we met and stuff. You went on that deep dive of self and figuring out who you are. Okay, now I can have a clearer sense of who I'm in common with, not who they told you you were in common with. So thank you for that truth. Thank you for walking through the DREAMS acronym and being a representative of that as well. And again, like I said before you came up, I really am looking forward to stepping into 2026 with you and all that you have to bring to the organization. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And thank you for introducing the community through micro minutes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Honestly, there's a story. This week, I was walking in my neighborhood. And this is something that when I started walking, I'm like, usually when I'm walking somewhere, I'm walking with intention. I want to walk to the store, want to walk to get something or meet somebody. But this time around, I had an opportunity where I had a window that was freed up. So I'm just going to walk with no intention and just walk outside and just see my neighborhood for what it is. I've been living there for a year and a half, but I haven't really, taken the time to really set foot and say hi to the neighbors three blocks down and see what their house looks like. Like, what do they do? Like, and it was one of those things that as I'm walking, I'm touching a deeper part of me, like my inner child is coming up, that wonder and that innocence was coming back up for me. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm walking in community. I'm past the point of no return, so I might as well keep going and seeing what's out there. So as I'm walking, I see a Jeep and I see this duck, like ducks, right? Not this one, but there's rubber ducks on the windshield. And I'm like, oh man, I've seen Jeeps with rubber ducks before, but this time I sat down and I'm like, what does this mean? Why are there rubber ducks on the dashboard of Jeeps? So I look it up and it started in 2020. So there was this girl named Allison Parliament from Canada. And, she was, this is during the pandemic, and she wanted to spread positivity. So she took a rubber duck and she wrote a message on the bottom of it and placed it on the front of a Jeep. And then from there, it just went viral. So I guess the person took a picture, it went viral, and now that became a whole Jeep thing where it was a simple message, a micro minute of spreading positivity and creating community within that Jeep culture. So I'm like, okay, well, this is something that we can just easily use and extend not only to Jeeps, but to anybody you meet that you feel like needs that burst of positivity. So I went ahead and actually bought some rubber ducks. It's on the table for those online. I bought rubber ducks and they're on the table. And I invite you to actually take two, right? So take one for yourself and then take one for somebody else and write a sign or a message on the bottom of it that you can remember when you need it, and also write a message that you think somebody else will benefit from. Place it on their car or give it to them directly. And this can be a way of extending community through a simple and positive step, a positive message. So I have mine right here. It's this purple duck. No message yet, but as we continue through our speakers, whatever comes up that you feel inspired, I encourage you to write something down and share it with somebody else.
Yeah, that's such a fun idea. I can't wait to do that also, because I had noticed the ducks, and then I even noticed Subaru has the moo Subaru, the cows, and I drive a Subaru. So I was like, oh, someone can moo me anytime now, but I've never been mooed, but I've never mooed anybody either. So I think this will break the ice for me with that. I'll start spreading some duck joy and maybe I'll get mooed. I don't know. I'll share with you if I do though. But as we continue on the topic of community, we have 2 speakers left, and it always ends super powerful. So stay with us and stay engaged. But our next speaker, she really is not a stranger to community, right? She's shared with you before. She's been 2025. I think she's been at every event. She's spoken at every event with the exception of maybe one. April, yeah. So, and again, when she showed up at the beginning of the year, it wasn't like she was sitting around just thinking, oh, my life is so fulfilled. What more can I do to just expand this great experience I'm having? She was coming out of the muck. She shared with you, she was in the hospital for a year, almost lost her life multiple times. And again, being a survivor in life wasn't new to her either. But, as we get older and we go through different things and we start finding our powers and our strength, and then life does that again, it really does something to your spirit, to your soul. And I feel like it takes just a little more digging deep, a little more strength to blast out of that and come out super powerful the way she has been showing up. Not only does she limit herself to activate your power now, she's on such a huge growth journey and expansion journey that she puts herself out there to all of the different organizations, podcasts, events that are going on that presents itself to her and that she feels is an alignment. She's grabbing on and she's going for the ride, not knowing exactly where it's taking her, but we're super grateful because, again, we're taking a activation story and it's not morphing because you were always a great leader. It's just activating and bringing forth and showing you and us the great leaders that we truly were born to be. So Shannon, thank you so much for being committed to us this year. We also look forward to moving into 2026 with your powerful testimony and everything that you bring to the table to share with all of the community and the new people coming in needing an example of what this strength really looks like. So thank you very much. I'd like to welcome Shannon.
I need bifocals. I need to take my glasses off to be able to read, so this is weird. Good?
Yep.
Okay. I want to start out by reading a poem called Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is that we are Our deepest fear is that not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That resonated with me the other night because my biggest fear has always been to stand out. And James, what you said in the very beginning of today resonated with me too, because my community started with family and with my team, or sports team. But where I really fit in was with my team. I would run the halls of my school, grade school and high school, and just go through the motions. I wouldn't really engage because I was just there to go to school. My life was on the basketball court. My life was on the track or in the weight room. And that's where I excelled because I was with people that understood me. I was with people that I could have conversations with that nobody else would understand. And then that was from childhood all the way through college. Once I got through college, I was even more isolated. Because I isolated myself early on and I just went through the motions where people didn't recognize me or didn't understand me, so they just kind of stayed away, and I did too, just to avoid awkwardness, for lack of a better word. I did the same thing when I got married. I did it because I felt like I needed to be with somebody to be accepted and loved and taken care of. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I wasn't my own person. I was a shadow of somebody that I lived with for 16 years. And thankfully, that changed. But it came at a cost. And that cost came on July 5th of 21. And bear with me because this is the first time I've talked about this publicly. On July 5th of 21, one of my teammates, from when I was a kid, we've known each other since we were 6 years old. We did everything together. I trained 7 days a week, 3-4 hours a day, and he was always there. When he came back to Kansas City, I believe it was in 2018, after his divorce, he had to find something to do. He had to get his mind off of things and get him right again. And so his mom found a shelter, an animal shelter, that he could be a part of. It was in Spring Hill, Kansas. And in the beginning, he just went there to play with the dogs, and do what he could to help out. But the building wasn't accessible. So in order to make it accessible, he advocated for himself and created a community of his own. And he used the animals as a bridge between him and the humans because he was shy too. And after a while, when he was there, he wanted to do more. He wanted to make more of an impact because he was getting more comfortable, and it was family at that point. So he created a pet taxi business called Sunflower Animal Transport. And he took animals to the vet to get them ready for adoption, and he also took animals to their forever homes all the way across the country. It wasn't just in Kansas. One day, on July 5th of 21, he was taking a dog to the vet, and he was on a country road, one lane, two-way road, and his van collided with a semi and killed both him and the dog instantly. Shortly after that, the rescue community came together, and it was because of him. What started as just a time killer and something to do turned into a legacy, because he was willing to go above and beyond. And he took his love of travel and his love of animals and created something so much bigger than himself. He, the shelter created a day called David's Day, and they've had it every year since, in his memory. He was his dream was to use his hand cycle and bike across Kansas to do a fundraiser for the different shelters across the state that were less fortunate. And a mini version of that happened a few months after he passed, because the community came together and made it happen. On July 5th, my life changed too. Not only did I lose a best friend, but I gained a different perspective of life. Because of his death actually saved my life. Because of that, I ended up back in Kansas City 8 months later. And then it was extremely rocky in the beginning. But then on June 20th of 24, my life changed again when I ended up in the hospital. When I ended up in the hospital, my entire community changed. Everybody fell off. You know how that goes when you're in a certain spot for a long time, and people just fade away. And that was okay. But what I didn't expect is to gain a family that I got to know online when I was in the hospital. Between AYPN and BTBY and Misfits Managed and Revenant Voices, I was able to build a community back that I could come home to. And that in itself saved my life. And I feel like I've listened more to David since his death than I ever did when he was alive. And I'm not really sure, I can't see it at this point how it's going to turn out. But I know God has something bigger for me too.
Amen. Amen. Yes.
And just like him, just going into an environment with people that actually see you for who you are as a person, not just on the outside, but truly see you, and you can see them, and make that connection. Anything's possible. And I want to leave you guys with 2 questions. What do you want your legacy to be? And are you in the right position? Are you around the right community to make that happen? If not, things might need to change a little bit, because community is extremely important for that to happen, because you need people to lift you up. You need people to be able to see you for who you are, and not come to you with their own agenda. They need to be able to see your work and see what you're capable of so that you can start to believe it yourself. Thank you. All right, we're 2 for 2. We're creating professional speakers here. I mean, what can we say? You know, but thank you, Shannon, and thank you for bringing up the collaboration, right, with Becoming the Better You. And I wore my shirt today that both represents Activate Your Power Now and Becoming the Better You, because we're linked arms with Becoming the Better You, right? They're their own movement doing their own thing. And I suggest that you look them up and you see what they're doing and become a part, because it is a very powerful movement as well. So I know they'll get credit. They have a speaker class, and yes, you're taking it, but I think we're creating some professional speakers here. It started here. You heard it straight from her mouth. But yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. I know you had shared a little bit of that story personally with me, with your friend David, and I knew how impactful it was with your life. And what a beautiful way to honor him, honor his legacy by bringing it to the stage and sharing it with the world. So everybody, what is the day called that they host?
David's Day.
David's Day.
It was on October 1st originally,
Uh-huh.
but with life happening,
Yeah.
life happens. So this year, I think it's going to be on December 7th.
Okay.
And he played. Sorry.
No, like, let's celebrate David's Day together.
He played wheelchair basketball for the Kansas City Kings for a year. So the shelter and the wheelchair basketball team are going to get together and do a scrimmage. I believe it's on December 7th.
That's awesome. Will you please share that on the Activate Your Power Now page so people can attend and support and everything? So I appreciate that. And, you know, again, we're leaving legacies, guys. The world's not waiting for us to decide, do you want to leave a legacy? Do you not want to leave a legacy? We're leaving it regardless, right? And part of the intentional living, what I speak on, is leaving the legacy you want to leave on purpose. Because I was on a path to nothing being on purpose, me just being grateful or lucky, right? As another year went on, oh, wow, I'm lucky, things, wow, okay, you know, but nothing on purpose. And I am so grateful that I woke up to purpose, into doing things on purpose, because now I got to clean up some stuff that needed cleaned up within my legacy. And then I got an opportunity to show up newly, the new version of who I am, and show what it looks like and walk. So now my kids, sure, I may have let them down a certain path before, but now they get to see me walk in a different light. And that too, again, it's my legacy. It's happening either way. So now it gives them an opportunity to make a choice within their own life. So thank you so much, Shannon, for sharing that. We have someone here who's no stranger to the stage, who asked if they can come up and share a quick message before we close with Evie.
Okay.
And this person is someone who,
Before we
yes.
let me say something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
Before we bring this next speaker up, I just want to say thank you, Shannon. You really brought up a lot within myself in regards to understanding what legacy are we bringing to this world, right? And it's not something big, right? In regards to like how we, you know, when we think of legacy, we think of something grand, but it's not. It's just those small changes that you make that really create a large impact over time, and it's a ripple impact. And sometimes you don't even see it, right? But it still happens. So that encourages us to even take that step, even when we might not be able to see the fruits.
Yeah, keep moving.
Exactly, you got to keep moving. You know, moving from being isolated and not feeling like you belong. You know, being in a room of people and not and still feeling alone, and then asking yourself the question, why is this? Right? What is going on inside of me that I can't even feel connected when I'm around 50 plus people? So it's like, okay, I got to really go back to the drawing board and figure out what, like, where did I go wrong? But it comes down to really just understanding who you are and not being afraid to step into spaces that honor that. Right? And you might have to step into unknown spaces where you might be isolated, but that's a period of incubation, getting you ready for that next version of yourself to emerge, where you can stand boldly and knowing your light and also honoring your light as well. When you come into contact with other people, groups, and communities, now it's reciprocal respect.
Right.
And I feel like that's the biggest change that we may find hard to take, but it's necessary. So thank you for sharing and being brave enough to step on stage and give a piece of yourself. Thank you, Shane.
Thank you. So we can go ahead and bring Gary up.
Okay. So yes, we always have surprise guests, right? People who they feel stirred and they feel moved from the words that are spoken on stage, right? On Activate Your Power Now, and that's what we encourage. Standing in your power, understanding that your story is your pathway to your power that's rooted in peace, not pressure, not force, but flow. So we love to flow and go with that rhythm. So as we're moving, right, life moves with us. So I'm grateful to be able to bring up this outstanding gentleman who has been a pinnacle, a pillar in our community, who lives in Grandview and who is well integrated in the systems of Grandview. So let's give a warm round of applause for Gary, Coach G.
Coach G. Yes.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Man, you talking about being provoked today. I was originally slated to speak, and then I didn't reply back to Evie, so I wasn't in the banner, so that's my bad. But, man, that's one of the things I love about, as James said, AYPN. You can't sit there and not be moved. So I don't know how you guys are out there, but you've got to be moved. And you can't really, one of the things, I'm a recruiter at Concord Career College, and one of the things I say about that is you can't really experience Concord until you come here. So I'm actually going to steal that, because you can't really experience AYPN until you come here.
Yeah.
It's not good enough just to be on camera, on the live stream. And I know we're thankful for that, but the power of AYPN is when you come here and you feel the presence and you get provoked like I was. Again, I wasn't scheduled to speak, but after Shannon went, and everyone went, and then James, you just touched on mostly what I wanted to talk about. That word legacy means so much to me. And I would say most of you that know me as a speaker, the journey of a warrior, legacy was shattered for me. But as I sat in the back of the room, I'm like, why does it have to be shattered? We talk about the old, and it's maybe now I'm really finally getting that literally right now it's time to step into the new and build the new legacy. So traditionally, family has been legacy for me, my family, my blood. But I'm learning in the journey of a warrior, that legacy and community combined as one word together doesn't have to be blood family. Family is family, and my family are the people in this room. Amen. Some of us are missing, I think, obviously today, but my family, the people who have my back, that believe in me, that push me, that encourage me. I think one of the things I love about Bishop Jakes that he spoke was go to places or be in places where you're celebrated, not tolerated. So that is my community right here. Being in places where I'm celebrated. The moment I walk in the door, I walk into smiles and love and joy, happiness. Evie just knocks me over half the time with her hugs, but that's my sis. I love her. But I could not let the day pass without giving honor to my community. Like I said, that's traditionally been my family. I was married for 32 years, 3 sons, grandkids, all that. And I don't necessarily have all that anymore in my life. And I've spent so much time, and I almost want to say I've wasted so much time trying to retrieve the old. The old is gone. I can't take that. I can't get that back. I think we spend so much time in reference to community, worrying about the past, when community is right here in front of us. And I can't tell you how excited meeting you today, I'll meet you afterwards, but when James and Izzy told me that we're coming to Grandview, because I'm a resident of Grandview, literally right across the street. So this is home for me, and an opportunity now to blow up Grandview. I was a part of another community here in Grandview that used to speak of prophetic words of powerful things that are going to happen in the city of Grandview. And as I sat back there and I'm like, legacy, community, boy, you talking about an opportunity to build a new one? So I got excited all over again. I got energized all over again. I want to be a change agent in this community. I want people to know Coach G. And when you look up Coach G, you know Coach G's got your back. I bring love and energy and honesty, creativity. Our Father is always with me. But I just encourage, that's all I want to leave you with today is focus on the community that's there.
That's right.
Not the community that was in the past, but what is your community right here, right now? Look around you and see who's in your life. That doesn't have to be your brother, your sister, your mother, your father. It's great if you've got those people in your lives, but we all have community. We all have community. And I just wanted to say and give honor to mine. I couldn't let the day pass without telling mine how much I love them, how much I honor them, and how much they mean to me. Community. This has been your boy, Coach G.
Thank you for choosing to, one, thank you for being here today. And two, because we always ask, our speakers, come support the other speakers, even when you're not speaking. That was really the challenge to our community this year. Show up for the other people that are choosing to show up for themselves. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to share that word, to tie everything in. And we too look forward to you as we move to this community. I told you as soon as I'm like, we're moving to Grandview, dude. That's your community. Like all the things you talked about stepping into since we've met. Like you said on the stage, it wasn't about going and recreating. It was about we're stepping into something new. And I think that that's really making itself clear to a lot of us within the movement. And it's just beautiful to have served these last couple of years with you, and the fact that you're coming back in strong, coming back in ready to recalibrate and move forward in this new way, new powerful way. Because it's really the same for me. As I met you guys, it was coming out of it was troubles, even though life was very good for me considering where I could have been. I was always very grateful. But yeah, it was a lot going on. It was, my diagnosis, I had just come through battling and doing great cancer free 5 years later. Woo woo! But breast cancer. And I kept hearing from my husband as I was stepping into this new world and stuff is he had noticed that I was not the same person. And that wasn't like he would tell me, it's not in a bad way that I'm saying this, but before I was the person that can handle so many tasks and carry so many things and be here and be there and all of that. And now it was like, I can barely juggle what's the responsibilities parts, let alone extend out to more and stuff. And he says, you just don't have the same bandwidth you had before. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? But it feels like something's wrong with it because I know what I was capable of before. But you have to really dig down. And for me, I have to ask, I might have been really good at it then, but why doesn't it exist anymore if I was that good at it? And it was because it was only going to get me to a certain point. And then you have to learn to leave, be grateful, leave that exactly where it is and step into new power. So that's part of the journey, and it just feels really good to be able to walk these things together with other people and then choose to show up for other people. So thank you, Gary.
Yes. Look, I mean, Gary, you know, you're the person that always you lean into what comes up, and you're not afraid to step on stage, even if you're not on on the list. And I love that about you, because that really, you know, it means that spirit is really speaking through you, and somebody needs to hear what you have to say. I love how you mentioned about, like, you know, growing up and creating a family, but then stepping in and saying, "Oh, my family is the people that fit me right here, right in my heart," and it may look different than what I saw in my mind in the past, but now the challenge is letting that go and stepping and trusting that the people around me right now that understand me, they are family. And that kind of brings up the whole saying about the grass is always greener on the other side. But I know it's like, no, the grass is greener where you water it.
Right.
Yes.
You tend to water it.
So it's like connection is the truest currency. Like, we're in this space right now, people gather together for one reason, to connect,
Yeah.
right? To be in the same space together, to, you know, have the potential of being seen as they are, being seen in their light, being seen in their gifts, being seen as themselves. And being here right now, right, I just, you know, I'm just in gratitude, right? In gratitude for the community that has formed around AYPN, for the community of Grandview, for the communities we have served, Unity Southeast, Johnson County, Overland Park, Shawnee Mission, over the last 4 years, and just be able to pour in, and then also being poured into. And one thing I learned is, like, okay, as we're going forward, what creates stronger community is having stronger boundaries, right? Knowing when to say yes and when to say no, right? So stepping away from overgiving out of guilt, and also giving from a place where you are truly centered and able to give. Now that creates community that's based off shared resonance versus give and take and tack. I did this for you, now I expect you to do this for me. Now I'm doing what I can from what I have, and I expect you to do the same. And from there, now we have a mutual respect for our own space and our own boundaries. So that's been the biggest challenge I've been learning and walking through recently. So thank you, Gary, for coming on stage and sharing a powerful message.
Well, James, it's we started a little late. We're ending not too far off from our goal end time, which is usually 12 o'clock, 2-hour event. But you know, we always like to close with a really powerful message, something that really touches your heart, gets you feeling a little accountability, you know.
And she's wearing green too.
So I know you all already, the repeat AYPNers, you already know who I'm talking about, because we keep her at the end for a reason. She's the queen of kings and queens. So we are grateful to have her not only as part of the Activate Your Power Now community, but she came in from the beginning saying, I'm a leader. Put me where you need a good leader, and I'm here ready to lead, ready to give, ready to serve. And she continues to grow herself and expand herself in her certifications, her degrees. And Denzel, when you mentioned earlier about being fortunate enough to have that mom who cares, who wanted you to be educated, who wanted you to be a good citizen to society, you know, did her best to prep for all that and everything. I touched Evie on the shoulder to tell her, girl, I see you, like he's speaking to you right now. You know, I've gotten to the pleasure to know her personally, go to her home, meet her kids, and I see that why she calls herself a healer of kings and queens, because when I tell you she has nurtured some kings and some queens of her own that are starting to come of age, where they're starting to go out there and be that in the world also. Thank you for all your work. And, you know I used to have people tell my kids when they were growing up, I wish I had parents like yours. Me and my husband, you know, after going meeting her family, seeing all the things, how she pours into them and holds space for her kids in her house. I couldn't help but have that little bit of a feeling like, wow, the potential I could have had if I had a mother like this. So thank you, Evie, for being you, and we welcome you to the stage. Evie.
Man. You gonna do that to me right there? Oh, man. Oh, man. So she just gonna do that to me. Y'all gonna let her do that to me. Ooh, today we have had some amazing speakers. Like I was just sitting back there, just so proud of every last one of y'all. And just, you guys don't understand, and maybe you all at home don't understand. It takes a lot to get up here and lay open. Because that's what we're doing. We're up here laying open. We're up here saying, hey, I've been through some stuff. And my stuff made me who I am, so I'm not going to take it back. But I am going to tell you that if you use your stuff right, man, the things you can build. So for me, community, like Julie said, community is common. That's how it starts. But true community requires unity. And if you unify with the wrong people, then you got stowaways on your ship and you just floating through an ocean of foolishness and accepting it as love because you thought that's what that was. We have been taught to be seen and not heard. And if you grew up in a family like mine, you were supposed to be cute and bettable. But you weren't supposed to be real and true and open and transparent. You weren't supposed to be strong. You were supposed to be seen and not heard, especially a girl. I'm the oldest. I have 7 brothers. And most of them will tell you I'm as masculine as I can be and cute.
Oh, yes.
But I had to be. For me, community is about communication. If I can't be transparent with you and I can't tell you about me, or if I tell you about me and you go, oh man, you did what? You used to be who? But if my used to be is gonna bother you, then what I'm about to be is gonna mess you up. I don't know how to help you. So my used to be is how I'm gonna head to where I gotta be. Community and having that unity and that communication means that I can be transparent. If my truth bothers you, then you're not meant for me. If my where I've been bothers you, then you're not meant for me. I asked God to root out people, but I didn't ask him what a lot of people pray and they say, oh, Lord, just remove the people that are hurting me, or God, just take the things away that bother me. No, I asked the Lord, not only do I want you to remove them, but I want you to let me watch so that I don't go chasing them back. Where are you going? I thought, no, I need to know that you're supposed to be removed. And when God does it, you get to see those people pulled up and not just ascended, but transcended, completely transparent. You get to know why they were the snake on your ship in the first place. The only reason why they had to be a stowaway is because they couldn't earn a ticket from you no way. The point that we get ourselves into those places where we decide that these people are supposed to be, I always have to be with my cousins, my brothers, my friends, my family, they're my blood, and yet they're the same ones that will stab me in the back to see if I bleed the same. Just because they carry your name does not mean that they're supposed to share your pain. Those people don't have to stay. We were put into their family. They didn't accept us all in. It doesn't have to be the same. My closest kin are those who don't share a bloodline with me. They couldn't tell you my blood type. If they told you anything about me, they'd say that I bleed openly, I speak freely, and I love without condition. But because I love you unconditionally, I only give out what I require, and I only require what I can give. See, what I require, I can reciprocate. Never get into a situation where you are in bed with people and in business with people and a place with people and you have to shrink. You were called to be light, not liked. Yes. I don't have to be liked. It's okay if you don't want to be my friend. I shined on you though, didn't I? Because I seemed to bother you. I got underneath your skin. You mad about me? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Did I leave a memory for you? I hope it's sweet. I hope you hate me good enough that you can't even understand why my light keeps bothering your darkness. You see, my demons, where they play, I freely give you because I don't want your demons to be lonely. Our demons can play together and we can build together, but if your demons are still pretending, then I don't have time for you not to unfold who you really are. Show me where your demons play. If you can sit with me and you can sit and have our demons play together, then I know that you're willing to strip back all the things that led you away from me. We wonder about those people and we get upset. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this relationship didn't work and I can't believe that relationship didn't work. They were darkness playing on a ship that was only lit by light. You can't stow away forever. Some people are meant to break. And if you keep pushing for those people to be a part of your life, then your overflow will never be reached because you're too busy trying to sip off the last drop somebody left you. Why? Why run around in a situationship, a relationship, a business ship, and you can't even trust those on your ship? If I'm running from the people that's on the boat with me, then I'm tripping. How am I going to get where I'm going? I think about community. I thought about the disciples when I was going through this week and trying to get myself wrapped around what I wanted to say. And I started thinking of all the nice and sweet things, but I had to think about it. See, I can either find myself in a community where I'm on Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego life, or I can sitting up here playing with Judas like I don't know he's at my table. Why would I do such a thing? If I'm willing to say that what I'm in my fight for, I'm putting my life on, I need a Shadrach and Meshach kind of community. I don't want a community that I don't have that. You gonna burn with me? Let's burn. Yes. We gonna stand together? Let's stand. We gonna fight? Let's fight. Yes. I'm so excited that I'm at the Chamber of Commerce in Grandview. I've been out here since 2013. Liz is gonna be sick of me. Because I want to be a part of it. I want to know what we can do. Me and Gary were outside talking, man, this is our house. How we didn't know. I got to know where I'm pouring at. If I can go pour everywhere else, we've been speaking all over town. I got to pour where I laid my ground. I need to know that my soil is good because this is where my children play. This is where we go. I'm a teacher in this community. I love this community. But if you won't build where you call home, then you are just pretending and saying that you're somewhere else. It's all right to build elsewhere. Where do your seeds grow? My children have to have pride in who I am. And I'm telling you, Izzy almost brought me to tears on that one because the only thing I ever want to leave is that my children knew I never gave up on them. Mm-hmm. I know what it was like to be out on these streets at 13 years old when I left home. I know what the streets do. Yes. I had it down packed. I survived just fine. But there's scars on my back. There's pain. There's places that you'll never understand. There's things I'll never know and things that I can see. I was a substance abuse and mental health counselor for many moons. And the hardest thing that I had to do was sit in there and look at those people and say, but Miss Evie, you're better than me. What? Don't let the outfits fool you. I'm not better than you. I'm one decision that I made just slightly different. Because I easily could have been your cellmate. I could have easily been sitting right here trying to get over something I was addicted to. But I got so addicted to me that I could no longer be addicted to those who tried to be addicted to me. I had to wean myself off of who I thought I was supposed to be. So that I could stand up and be who God called me to be. And being into your purpose and walking in it, let me be real with you. It's not some foo-foo thing. It ain't pretty. It's a whole lot of pain. As Denzel showed us, as Julie showed us, as Shannon showed us, as Gary showed us. It's pain when you decide that what I was built for, I will be. Yes. You have to decide that everything that got you to this point can no longer be. Mm-hmm. I've attended a lot of funerals, but no more than my own. I had to watch every version of me die so that I can emerge to this new one. And I mourn them greatly. And some graves I had a hard time walking away from because she had me cold-blooded. We were solid. I know how to make the money. I know how to do the things. But to say goodbye to yourself, to be willing to let go of what they told you were supposed to be, that takes a strength that only you can find in you. Mm-hmm. And whatever source you go with. Because everything that made me me and the power that you think you see, it was never me. It was always the one that molded and made it me. Amen. When I look up, I can only look up because he lifted my head up. You see, I walked around most of my life with my head down. And just because you think I came with the power in the room, I was afraid of who I was supposed to be. Because I ran from that, because that required me to sacrifice me. In the Bible, there was a man who had to take his only son and take him up a mountain to kill him. There was a ram in the bush. He didn't have to take his son's life. But the same two people that walked up there is not the same two that came down. Mm-hmm. Come on. Sometimes you got to be able to sacrifice you to find the ram in the bush. And 90% of the time, it's in your community. Because they're the ones who know who you are. Thank you.
Powerful as usual. Thank you so much, Evie, for, like I said, bringing it all right full circle and really helping us to take that deep dive within ourselves, to ask all the right questions to ourselves, to what are you contributing to your community? What role are you playing? What are you staying attached to? What are you not willing to release, right? All of those things. Who are you linking arms with that's going to be willing to step into the battle with you, right? Because my experience, I'm full of a world of people that have told me since I was little, and this is my parents and my older siblings and stuff, of I have my own problems. I don't got time for yours. That's yours to do. Figure it out. And then you start figuring it out before them, and then they want to latch on, jump on, go on the ride, say they always believed in you, right? And that's where, like Evie said, you have to acknowledge, be willing to acknowledge, and be willing to say, no, I can't place myself here anymore. You're hindering me. You're not helping me. And where the challenge was for me in those situations was I was fine with letting things and people go. But the challenge was, can I let them go in peace? Right? Just because they're not for this season with me, just because we have to part ways now, the mission of life, we're all so that we can reunite once again. So it's knowing that when you let go, you're saying, be well on your journey, and I will do my best to be well on mine. Knowing that the goal is to meet again, to link arms again, and to walk in this higher knowing, this higher vibration, this higher understanding of life, walking it together. For me, that's the ultimate goal, right? That's why I choose to be here. That's why I choose to keep showing up. That's why I choose to keep using my voice. Is because I want to spend my experience of experiencing my highest self with others who are on that same journey.
Thank you. She said, I'm so addicted to myself, to me, that I won't let others who are addicted to me take from me. That'll hit home. So holding space for that, understanding that, again, community is what we create, what we make it. And then we have the opportunity and the power to water where we stand. So coming back here home to Grandview is watering where we stand and taking a stand, right? And not allowing our light to be dimmed, looking for likes, like she said, right? Moving in authenticity versus approval, looking for validation. No, we validate ourselves because we know who we are, and we stand in that unapologetically. And that creates true community that allows people to see you and allows you to see them. Differences and all. It's not about conformity, it's about coming together and being united in our differences. Create a community around that, right? Common, like Julie said, and then unity as well. We bring that together, we have community. So I thank you for everybody coming into this space and sharing of yourself. That's a brave effort. But through that, you are creating a ripple effect that you may not even see, but it's still happening. So we appreciate that. And again, we have rubber ducks on the table for people who came in a little later, where we are encouraging you to write a positive message on the bottom of it, and then hashtag AYPN, and then giving somebody or placing on their card. It's a part of Jeep culture, which started as a positive movement in 2020, and now we're extending that, saying it doesn't matter if you have a Jeep or not. Right. We're giving it to people and spreading that positivity. So yeah, definitely let's continue to build community. Let's continue to build ourselves in the meantime as well. And thank you for coming. And our next event is
November 14th. Melissa, you're saying yes? Are you,
Oh, I'm
okay,
Activate voice.
15th, November 15th, here at the Grandview Chamber of Commerce in Grandview, Missouri. And we're closing out 2025 with Activate Your Voice. We have some new speakers coming on for that one too, and a lot of returning speakers. And we just can't wait because that's really what this has been about for these last 4 years, is activating your voice, right? It's lovely to go on that inner journey, to do work, become a better person. But when you keep it to yourself, you're kind of hindering other people around you to know that they have the power to do the same. So step out, let's talk about it, and we're super grateful. Go ahead and close this up. So thank you everybody for attending online, virtual replay. Please comment. If you get ducks, hashtag AYPN with a nice message. Spread that out. Let's spread the love. Let's create intentional community. And
I got one more thing. This is not for the online community because we're challenging you to come in person. This is for people who's here right now. Let's gather together in a circle and let's come
all right,
together.
let's do it. Are we staying live for this, or we're going to go ahead and
No,
close
we're
it
gonna do it
live?
right here. We can close it online. I'm
Okay.
saying. This
Well,
is
peace, everybody.
a
Thank you
bonus
for tuning
for coming
in,
in
and
person.
we hope to see you in person.
We're going to huddle